There are 5 issues that associated to food and class. I think five. I think five. There are five issues that associated to food and class. Apa isu-isu dia? Satu isu adalah dari segi food and social interaction. As we know that in many cultures, food sharing is very important. And food sharing actually is the act of eating. It's a primary way of interacting with others. In many cultures, in many events, food ni adalah salah satu cara kita nak interact with other people. Sharing a meal at a restaurant, cooking for friends in the home, or having potluck gatherings where those invited bring their foods. How individuals interact with one another through food pun juga affected pada social standing. Not all classes, but when we talk about the higher classes, they consume more meal outside of the home because they have the money, okay? And they eat at more expensive establishments, restaurants. For middle class people, they still enjoy eating out, okay? But when they go out, they are more preferred to go to the restaurants, or they are more engaged in more home cooking restaurant, or they have family or friends that gather in their homes. That the middle class, maknanya dia boleh juga enjoy the food by inviting people to come to their home. That is more kepada middle class people. However, for those in the low social class, they are less able to use food as means to socialize because they have limited food, and the food that they have is just for the family, not to share with other people because they don't have the resources to take part in different social interaction around the food. The poverty or belonging to lower classes, lower social class, carries with an intrinsic component of deprivation, where those in lower classes cannot take advantage of different social gathering. That the issues number one that associated with food classes. Maknanya, bila ada classes ni, the enjoyment of the food, the sharing of the food is sometimes unequal between the classes. Number two, dari segi poverty, food deprivation, and also food preferences. We know that the low social economic classes, they have greater vulnerability to food insecurity ataupun food deprivation. The past food deprivation associated with preference for foods that high in energy and also in fat that give the satiating and comforting effect. The importance of food as a source of happiness and comfort is important across all classes, not just for the higher classes as well as by the lower classes, but even more so in situations where the families in few resources do not allow for fulfilling other non-food rewards. For example, macam mak might not be able to afford the latest video game for her son. When the son asks for a fast food meal, she will give in, even she knows other food options are better. And because of the poverty, the link between food and physiological well-being, the experience of poverty and food deprivation make the understanding and following of current nutrition advice very harder. Sebab kita tahu bahawa the limited of the socio-economic status and the poverty itself menyebabkan kadang-kadang kita ni sebagai nutritionist is very difficult for us to recommend them to eat a better food or to eat a healthy food, because we know that the better and the healthy food is equal to expensive food. Isu yang ketiga selain daripada food deprivation and then food gathering adalah dari segi social class and diet quality. There are inverse relationship between income and the proportion of such income spent in food. The more you have income, the less you spend on the food. Many studies have found that individuals at the lower classes, they spend a big percentage of their budget in food with other basic necessities, housing, utilities, because for them those things are not important. They need food to survive. That's why they spend a lot of money to food compared to the the rich people, because they have a lot of money. The important part is the outer, the way they present themselves to the society is much more important rather than to have a food. And higher cost of healthy food option is associated with decreased diet quality. Higher social they have high quality diet ataupun kita panggil sebagai nutrient rich low energy dense food. Compared to the low social economic status, they have low quality but more energy dense and also less varied diet. Yang keempat adalah dari segi food desert. Food desert ni macam ni. The relationship between food and class is mediated by different access to healthy fresh food. Selalunya kita panggil orang-orang yang miskin, ataupun kita panggil food desert ni adalah salah satu kawasan or area that has limited access to affordable and nutritious foods. Dan kita panggil sebagai food desert. The class and eating touch open food access inequities and local food deserts found in many low-income areas. Kalau low-income areas ni, there are so many unhealthy food, fast food, because they know that this group of people society then can afford to buy the food. And mostly or usually, they are very, very difficult to get supermarket and also fresh food available in a food desert area. You can see that here, food desert so kebanyakannya banyak makanan-makanan yang unhealthy in this kind what we call a food desert. And the poor are dependent on small corner stores that sell most unhealthy food along with alcohol and also cigarettes. In the US, they found that the low-income neighborhoods have less access to supermarket and greatly influence the type of food they have access to. This actually will reflect in terms of their purchasing patterns, where the lower class family who are not able to shop at supermarket will buy less fresh fruits and vegetables. And this lack of access to healthier fresh food options orang kata explain the socio-economic differences in diet quality. Dan isu yang terakhir adalah in terms of the obesity among the poor and the fat prejudice. When they have disparities in food access and diet quality, it will result in different physical and health outcomes. Obesity adalah salah satu digunakan sebagai what we call as a sign of affluence. Dulu, being thin was a sign of illness and poverty. When you look at the people, when you know that it's a sign of illness and poverty. But nowadays, social prejudices along body shape have changed. A social preference for thinness and a negative stereotype concern fatness. And there is a negative perception of overweight individual as not having willpower, among other negative adjectives. Jadi, diorang kata low income areas selalunya they present fewer opportunities for daily physical activity in so-called obesogenic environment where they have lack of healthy food choices, macam kita tadi timbaan food deserts that combine with perceived lack of neighborhood safety. They have lack of outdoor space and they have poor infrastructure and also transportation options. And all this environment actually will increase the individual vulnerability to becoming overweight and obesity. Jadi sekarang ni dulu kita kata kalau kita kurus tu dia poverty or dia ada kemiskinan ataupun from the lower class people, but actually now change to obesity. And physiological consequences of poverty which increase stress levels and at the same time vulnerability for excessive weight gains and other health conditions such as hypertension and heart disease. Conversely, obesity will also link to social class by influencing social opportunities through existing social prejudice, stigmatization and discrimination, limiting an individual ability to improve his or her socio-economic situation. So, secara summary-nya, from this topic, I need to highlight that our food serves as a way to mark status in society, actually. When we don't realize, actually, the food is actually a vehicle for socialization and a way to increase mental well-being, among other things. While food fulfill many different social and physiological needs, kita kena tahu bahawa food ni juga link kepada overall health. As social classes distinguish themselves through different tastes, food preferences, these differences sebenarnya telah menyebabkan their association with the health disparities and other issues such as disparities in housing and neighborhood location, as well as social stigma related to obesity as a consequence of poverty and also different in eating patterns. Thank you.